Good afternoon. A terror cell is right now being hunted by the FBI over a deadly pickup truck rampage in New Orleans. Let's take you live to that scene where the suspect, an Army veteran who was inspired by ISIS, rammed into crowds celebrating New Year's. Police saying he was hell-bent on creating carnage and that he had help. The 42-year-old killed in a shootout with officers. As we come on the air, the death toll stands at 15, while 30 were injured. And this afternoon, terrorism investigators are looking at whether it's connected to this. A rental Tesla cybertruck packed with fireworks, gas tanks and camping fuel exploding outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. The driver died and 7 were hurt. Sheriffs saying Elon Musk has played a critical role in the search for answers, sending vehicle data directly to them. We'll bring you comprehensive coverage on both stories across our bulletin this hour. Let's go to Isabel Mullen live in New Orleans. Isabel, what are we learning about the attacker this afternoon?
Hugh, good afternoon. Just extremely disturbing details. We understand he had a desire to kill as many people as possible, causing maximum harm. Picking Bourbon Street, arguably New Orleans' busiest, most packed tourist district, its biggest tourist attraction, to execute this horrific act of terror. Now, he's a 42-year-old Shamsud Din Bahar Jabbar, and he had an affiliation with ISIS. We understand he was US born, he's a Texan, and he rammed right through that crowd on Bourbon Street. You can probably see that CCTV image of the car going just as fast as it can towards crowds of people, mowing down and killing 15 and injuring another 35. He was in a rented truck. He was bearing an ISIS flag on the back of that truck, and inside one of those eskies at the back of the truck were 4 homemade bombs. We've also been told he rented an Airbnb close by in New Orleans so he could be close to this scene where he was manufacturing other bombs. This is the deadliest attack in the US in the past 12 months.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack.
And Izzy, you've spoken to Australians caught up in the rampage. How are they doing?
Oh, well, Hugh, they're really rattled, and it's understandable. They've gone through so much. They were out celebrating New Year's Eve. They were in an area that they thought was going to be safe. They were on Bourbon Street. Many of them had just finished up the night. They were walking back to their hotels. It was 3:15 a.m., so spirits were high when this terror unfolded. We actually caught up with a Perth family. They were on their way back to their hotel when they had to duck for cover. Take a listen.
I could see like a car flying down the road, and the fact that I was that lucky, you know, I was in the middle of the street when the car went by. So just yeah, I just don't know how to explain it. It's not right.
This is still very much a developing situation. You can probably see behind me that it is still a very active crime scene. Police have said that more than one person could be involved here. So they've cordoned off quite a large area. There are multiple crime scenes, one here also at that Airbnb, not far from here, about 2 kilometres in another part of New Orleans. They are bringing in extra security. We do have a college football match tomorrow that we understand is still going ahead, and of course the Super Bowl and the Mardi Gras next month. So police and authorities here trying to make the city as safe as possible in the weeks and months to come. Hugh.
All right, we'll cross back to you later this hour. Isabel Mullen, live in New Orleans. As we mentioned at the top of the bulletin, authorities are looking at any links between the New Orleans attack and a Tesla cybertruck blast outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. Law enforcement say they're not ruling anything out and terror is a live option.
growing questions into this Tesla Cybertruck turned inferno just feet away from the Trump International Hotel. The stunning scene on the Vegas Strip, now the focus of a federal investigation. Law enforcement officials confirming the Cybertruck was rented from the same company as the vehicle used in the New Orleans attack.
We're looking for secondary devices. We're taking it slow, and we are going to make sure that we remain safe in our community.
The blaze appeared to erupt in seconds. Witnesses describing hearing a loud noise, followed by a smoky scene.
We saw a lot of smoke through the windows.
Inside the vehicle, fire crews discovered an unidentified body. The burst of flames also wounding at least 7 bystanders before it was fully contained. Tesla founder Elon Musk posting, "The whole Tesla senior team is investigating this matter right now," adding, "We've never seen anything like this." Video evidence may be telling in the investigation.
You can see multiple large flashes, and you also hear whistling sounds in that video, and those whistling sounds are very consistent with the sort of fireworks that you could buy as a consumer and set off.
The Trump Organization thanking law enforcement for their swift response as federal investigators dig in.
We're learning harrowing new details this afternoon about an incident involving Virgin Australia crew members in Fiji. Local police are investigating allegations a female worker was sexually assaulted and her male colleague robbed outside a nightclub. Estelle Greepink has the latest.
The Virgin Australia crew members have been advised to stay in their hotel rooms as Fijian authorities continue to investigate this incident. Local police allege a male crew member was robbed and a female crew member sexually assaulted outside a nightclub in the tourist town of Nadi in the early hours of New Year's Day. The man was taken to hospital with facial injuries, with both alleged victims now back at their hotel.
The Australian government would provide any possible support we could to anyone in trouble across the globe, but these reports from Fiji are only emerging right now. I'm advised that there are significant privacy considerations.
In a statement released this afternoon, Fiji's Deputy Prime Minister said, regrettably, incidents like this can happen anywhere and Fiji is not immune. We, as always, remind tourists to exercise caution in nightclub areas and late at night.
7 News understands that in an internal email to staff, Virgin Australia have called this a serious security incident and have sent senior management over to provide support. Family members of the crew are also heading over to be with their loved ones. The Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade says they're aware of the incident but wouldn't provide any further comment for privacy reasons. 7 News understands a replacement crew has been dispatched to Fiji to fly that original plane back home. The airline says their main priority now is the welfare of their staff.
Making visits to the doctor cheaper is shaping as a key federal election issue. Live to Josh Martin in Canberra. Josh, Labor sees health as a strength.
Yes, Hugh, and the government is getting on the front foot as we enter the new year and an election year. Health Minister Mark Butler held a press conference in Adelaide today, expanding 2 drugs on the pharmaceutical benefit scheme for sufferers of prostate and breast cancer. Like Bridget Phillips, her fight against metastatic breast cancer has just got a whole lot cheaper. The Wollongong mother suffers from a genetic mutation, which means she takes a drug called Lynparza. Bridget and 300 other patients each year will now save thousands every month thanks to the listing.
I went from being a very normal 31-year-old to being someone who was dying. It was hard to take. This treatment means that I just take my pills every day and get on with being a relatively normal mum.
To make trips to the doctor easier and cheaper, Labor is considering lifting the bulk billing incentive paid to GPs, as well as the rollout of more Medicare urgent care clinics, launching a scare campaign suggesting voters can't trust the opposition to manage health.
You just have to look at Peter Dutton's record as Health Minister, which frankly is pretty scary. He introduced a Medicare rebate freeze that effectively froze the income of doctors for 6 years.
Labor are just telling lies. This is a scare campaign. We support absolutely Australians getting access to bulk billed healthcare. We need to have a review of the urgent care clinics. We know that they're not open for the hours that were promised. We know that many of them aren't staffed by a GP.
Hugh, we've spoken to the Australian Medical Association, who say there needs to be more funding to train Australian doctors.
OK, thanks. Josh Martin in Canberra. Sam Constas's Boxing Day debut even surprised his famous mentor Shane Watson. The teenage sensation was the king of the kids ahead of his home ground test at the SCG today as the Aussies made a tough selection call. Tom Wilson has the story.
After not batting yesterday, Sam Constas was the major draw card in the SCG nets this morning. His stunning debut, where he scooped Jasprit Bumrah for 6, stared down Virat Kohli and engaged the crowd like a seasoned performer, even surprised those closest to him.
My experience of dealing and working with Sam has been a very quiet, reserved personality. The way he engaged, even when he was batting in that first innings, how much he loved being the centre of attention, which the very best players, that's what they love.
Fans young and old lined up for a Constas keepsake. He stopped for every single one.
It's amazing. He owns India.
Did you get his signature as well?
Yeah, it's very exciting. He plays it fierce and plays it properly.
And his fans go all the way to the top. At Kirribilli last night, Anthony Albanese reminded Constas he picked him in the PM's 11, where he went on to make a century against India.
PM's 11, fine pick.
It was all because of you.
Thank you. Thanks, mate. Did you get that on camera?
The form of all-rounder Mitch Marsh has been in focus this summer. Selectors this morning making the tough call to drop the Allan Border medalist for untried Tassie all-rounder Bo Webster.
He's just been one of those star performers for Tasmania with a battle bowler or in the field. He always seems to have a big impact.
With a 2-1 series lead and the Border Gavaskar Trophy on the line, fast bowler Mitch Starc will play through the pain of a rib injury against India tomorrow.